Hello and welcome to In Service to Transformation with me, your host, Claire Darnell. This week I am joined by Brighid Rose. Brighid is a devotee of the mystery, mentor and body worker, and a Magdalene student and teacher. And I've had the privilege of following and learning from Brighid for a period of time now. I'm really excited to bring her medicine to you all. And she just let me know that this is her first experience of sharing on a podcast, which blew me away because she's so much magic to share. So without further ado, Brighid, so good to meet you here on the screen and have you share for the listeners. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, really excited to have you.
Mm.
So in spite of the fact that there's that element of, the whole Instagram world where you feel like you know somebody, and I've shared space with you, but you were very much in facilitation mode, sharing pieces of your story, but at the same time, I know very little about your journey to, and what's brought you to be in the space that you are, offering the pieces that you do. So I'm really curious to learn more about your journey of transformation, and I'm wondering, is there a place or a time to which you could pinpoint, an aha moment when you thought something needs to change?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like there's been like different waves over the years, but definitely the first wave was it was over 10 years ago, 2014, 2015. And I mean, I was in a very disempowering relationship. Quite like abusive, and I was very isolated in it, and stuck and very trapped in myself and in that relationship. And in that time, I also was led to I was studying primary school education, and then was led to Steiner education.
Wow.
And I started to do my diploma of Steiner education, and like that's not a normal study, like that's not a normal diploma. It's a deep, especially that first year is like a deep soul initiation journey. It's very much a mystery school. So this was my first like mystery school venture. And yeah, that first year with a very like intimate group of 16 people, we journeyed so deeply. And yeah, I say now they were the people, and that was the group that like taught me how to love. It was like I feel like I'd never really known that quality of love until I took that journey.
Wow.
And I feel like that was my first step on the path of like deep transformation.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you hadn't really gone toward this Steiner setting for that outcome.
No, I was not expecting that. I
What
was
was
just fascinated by it.
Yeah, and it is
Yeah.
truly fascinating. For those who are not aware of what Steiner is, could you just give a little bit of insight to the listener?
Yeah, I mean, the Steiner education, it's one of many streams of Rudolf Steiner's like teachings. He went into like medicine and agriculture and education and so many other things. But it's founded in like an esoteric philosophy that he's called theosophy. No, sorry, anthroposophy. It's a theosophical thread. And it's the study of human, really, the study of being a human. And it is very soul based. So it really kind of connected me to just the deeper aspect of the deeper essence of who I am. And it just made so much, it's just like, everything made sense when I started to read more about like the greater and deeper aspects of what it is to be a human being.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm feeling a twang of jealousy. Just gonna own that. I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so
was a special
beautiful.
time.
So where did you go from there?
Well, I mean, I went into it thinking that I would be becoming a teacher. But having that first year of really like awakening to my soul and my like my heart and my being. At the end of that year, that relationship ended, and then
Yeah.
I was like liberated, and
Yes.
I started dancing. So that was my next kind of wave. Because I was very disembodied, and I
Yeah.
started to go to five rhythms, and like I was dancing multiple times a week.
Mm.
So yeah, moving into just like ecstatic dancing, five rhythms, and other ones.
Mm.
And then that quickly led me into the sexuality realms.
Yeah.
And so that second year of my Steiner studies, I was also going to like as many retreats and trainings and workshops and things that I could go to that were both embodiment, like dance focused, but also sacred sexuality, tantra
Mm.
focused. So there was like, yeah, a quick movement into like my sexuality
Yeah.
liberation journey as well.
Mm. Yeah.
Because as much as I do love the Steiner world, there is that element's not not so much a big part of it. And so there was that,
Interesting.
yeah, there was the hunger in my being, in my
Mm.
body, in my eros to yeah, discover that and explore and unravel and just
Mm.
learn about my life, learn about
Yeah.
me in a new way. Especially
Mm.
after being so like I was, very closed, very shut down.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, as you were
Yeah.
saying that, actually, I was just really feeling that. I was just feeling
Mm,
that, how restricted you must have been in that
yeah.
relationship setting. And then to come out and have this big, almost awakening
Mm,
remembrance,
yeah.
rediscovery of what really, yeah, is
Yeah.
important, right? And
Mm,
valuable as a human, but as a woman as well, to be able
yeah.
to reclaim these parts of ourselves, our sexuality and our free expression. And movement
Yeah.
practices, wow, what a gateway for that, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I feel
Mm,
like they're pretty like they go hand in hand or
mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
At least
really
they did
are.
for me, and I've witnessed that in so many others over
Mm,
the years. There's yeah. Journeying with our eros or our sexuality, it is an embodiment journey, it's there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. And so I'm
Mm,
curious because quite a few people will be curious about this eros work and this sacred sexuality work. So where did that take you on your journey? What kind of
mm,
philosophies, schools, practices were you using throughout that time?
yeah. Um, I was working a lot with like I was in living in Melbourne at the time.
Mm,
And there's just a plethora of facilitators and yeah, people holding really amazing things. There's such a rich community there.
yeah.
So I was yeah attending many different kind of threads throughout
Mm,
that time, but doing like a lot of work in mostly women's spaces, but also both like some mixed as well.
yeah.
But I did then yeah really go deeper into the womb work and the yoni work, and then
Mm,
yeah, so after journeying that, I was like I need to offer this, like how can I like give, it just felt so alive, like I could feel like the need in my body to do body work, to be with other bodies, like it felt like that was a channel that I could love
yeah.
and serve through.
Mm,
um and yeah, that led me to do my yoni mapping therapy training, which
mm,
is yeah a beautiful modality that was created by my teacher Bonnie Bliss.
mm,
That's yeah an exquisite combination of yoni massage and de-armoring, and yeah, it's a very rich practice, and yeah,
mm.
I've been practicing that since 2017. So yeah,
Wow.
that's yeah part
Amazing.
of a big part of what I do now.
Mm,
um
yeah.
yeah, and that's just deepened over the years, like especially going deeper into really womb focused kind of journeying as well
Mm,
with a teacher of mine, Janine Marie. So that yeah, I guess they're kind of some yeah, they're some of my main teachers that I've journeyed
yeah.
with and have
And
supported me along the way.
I love that you're
Yeah.
mentioning the names of these teachers as well, and this kind of the willingness with which
Mm,
you're willing to say, and I've learned from these individuals because I think it's so important for us to, it just for me, it demonstrates the lack of ego that you have
Mm.
in and competition there. It's ultimately like our mentors, our teachers are so important to us. And I
Mm.
think for the listener, it's really beautiful
Yeah.
that you share your lineage really, and that
Mm.
you know, the wisdom that's being shared with you by your teachers. So thank you for
Yeah.
that, for demonstrating that. I'm really curious,
Mm.
because I know with my
Mm.
own awakening, yeah, it's been one where I've really had to kind of come into, where am I going with this? The idea of yoni mapping for some might be like a real
Mm.
edge,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and
Yeah.
if I think like for now, it's like, no, absolutely not. I think actually when you were in London, I
Mm.
was really wanting to try to connect with you to
Mm.
do it, and it just didn't
Yeah.
align. And I'm absolutely sure at some point I will work with you, or, you
Mm.
know, somebody of your recommendation. I Do you ever encounter individuals who come to you who are sort of meeting that edge, and actually what are the benefits to
Mm.
women having this yoni mapping therapy,
Yeah.
where it might feel like actually it's out of reach for them? I'm
Mm.
curious.
Totally. I mean, yeah, so many women that come have
Mm,
is like, yeah, it is like even just booking the session can be an
yes.
initiation in itself, you know? It's like, and there's
Yeah.
so many layers to that. It's like, I mean, I feel like one of the biggest ones is like actually the investment in themselves, and not just
Yes.
money wise, but also, you know, the sessions are like 3.5, 4 hours long. It's new, it's unfamiliar, it's, yeah, it's new territory, you know, like
Mm,
so many women, the majority of women that I see have have never experienced an internal touch that hasn't been through sex.
yeah.
And so it's, yeah, it's such a profound practice, like experience to have, where you're just fully receiving, and you know, it's a space of pure devotion for the
Mm,
body, for the yoni, for the womb, um in a way where like nothing is needed or wanted from them, you know, like,
mm,
because, you know, whether there's you know, trauma or not, it's like it's, yeah, I feel like that's still such a piece that we carry in our female bodies, is
yes.
it's, you know, for a purpose, or it's for something, or we have to
Mm,
perform in some kind of way, and
mm,
this just like strips all of that away, and they can just experience their body just as it is,
yes.
um which in itself is just, yeah, revolutionary.
Yeah, revolutionary
Yeah.
is the right word. Powerful is an understatement, right? As
So
you're
yeah.
sharing that with me, I'm thinking, this is huge, but revolutionary is such a great word
Yeah.
to describe that. It's so unusual in terms of the
Yeah.
conditioning that we experience as women and what we're subjected to
Yeah.
and what we internalize, right?
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
be in a state of just witnessing your own body receiving,
Mm.
I
Mm.
imagine must be profoundly revolutionary. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
And to be moving at the pace of their choice and their consent and their presence, you know, like it's a slow, you know, like I said, they're long sessions, you know, we're slowly
mm,
moving towards like the inner core, like literally the core, you know, of
yes.
our body.
Mm,
Um and yes, and there's steps every, you know, there's consent along the way, and that
yes.
also, like those points are also those moments of, yeah, of revolution, you know, of
Mm,
empowerment, of, yeah, like having a choice in a way, like with such subtlety and nuance, in a way that, yeah, we, many women haven't
absolutely.
experienced before. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the work with my own journey has been actually
Mm.
listening to my no and actually honoring
Yeah.
my no. And then
Yeah.
in those moments, realizing, oh my goodness, like how many times I've overrode
Yeah.
my own consent, even in self-intimacy, where
Mm.
there's been that need, you know, almost that need to override to change the way I feel, and then
Mm.
ultimately chasing orgasm or chasing
Mm.
some kind of outcome when actually
Mm.
my body just wanted to be held, wanted to be
Yeah.
tenderly be sat with.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think it is such a a powerful practice. Pussy work in
Yeah.
general, you know, self
Yeah.
orientated pleasure is so
Mm.
important. But the
Yeah.
consent element is everything, and that's where the teaching is, I feel,
Yeah.
in the consent.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. And like some of the most powerful sessions I've had, it's only happened a handful of times where like the pussy has been a no
yeah.
to penetration. And that in itself has been like so profound for the client who's,
Mm,
you know, maybe expecting something from themselves or wanting a certain outcome, or like,
yes.
you know, wanting to do the thing, to do the mapping thing. And actually the most powerful thing has been to just like rest at the entrance and just be with like, no, this is where I'm at. I'm not opening. Like the yoni's not opening here
Yeah.
today. And to really sit with that and be with that and hold that is, yeah, like
Mm.
just, yeah, the most empowering thing that they could have chosen.
Yeah, to have that much compassion and honor
Yeah.
the body's choice, absolutely. And as you're saying
Yeah.
it, I can really feel that in my heart space. That just feels so
Yeah.
tender and compassionate
Yeah.
and gentle and loving and all of the things that really we crave. Um,
Yeah, totally.
mm, yummy.
Yeah.
Ah, and what a beautiful example of, you know, you ultimately experience something so profoundly healing for yourself and then having that
Mm.
calling. And this so often
Mm.
happens with guests when I'm speaking to them, where they say, and I did this thing
Mm.
and I just knew this is what I had to offer. So you start
Yeah.
to study and share and,
Mm.
you know, start to make this a part of your offering. And I think in turn, did you experience your own healing deepening
Mm.
through that journey?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's
Mm,
what, like, it was more that portal that then led me into, yeah, wanting to train in it and offer it.
mm,
Was, yeah, experiencing such profound, like, connection to my being
mm,
through, yeah, the portal of my yoni, of my womb.
mm,
And
mm.
yeah, knowing that that was that, you know, for me, I feel like there's this quality of like from the inside out is how I feel like I like
Yeah.
to bring any kind of work through, or do anything. It's like there's this quality of like coming into the core and then allowing the core to just like vibrate out. And I feel like
Mm,
that's what yoni mapping kind of, it's got that quality of like we, yeah, journey slowly right into the core, and then from there it's like there we're anchored.
mm,
You know, and I feel like that, yeah, my work with yoni mapping is very, is that through the body, and then I feel like the Magdalene work that I do is that
mm.
through the heart.
Yes.
um and yeah, I forget where I was going with that, but oh
I,
yeah,
I'm
that was
with
my
you wherever you're going. Yeah,
yeah,
beautiful.
like that was my way in, was like, yeah, journeying that myself. And yeah, a lot of healing, a lot of, yeah, sexual healing
Mm,
through that
yeah.
journey, which, yeah, then led me into, yeah, wanting to offer it and be in
Mm.
service in that way.
And we
Yeah.
might be going a little bit out of the chronology here, but I'm curious because you mentioned the Magdalene teachings with the heart
Yeah.
space. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's such a profound pathway, and
Yeah.
so deeply medicinal. Yeah, I'd love
Mm.
you to share a little more about, because I know this is a part of your offering currently as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
totally. Yeah, I mean, it still is chronological because it was like,
Oh,
yeah,
great.
number
Okay.
of years of like tantra work and yoni mapping, and
Mm,
then I think it was around 2018, 2019. So yeah, a couple years in. um I Yeah, I mean, it was actually through a fiction story, through a novel, that I met Mary Magdalene. And I mean, that there's some significant like novels that have been part, you know, these waves of awakening and transformation for me. And yeah, one of them
fascinating.
was this book. Well, actually, there's four books: the Maeve
Mm,
Chronicles. And that just, yeah, woke up in my heart, just, yeah, the essence and the vibration of Mary Magdalene. And then that led me into going down the rabbit hole of, yeah, the, you know, her scriptures, her teachings. And then
mm,
also, yeah, there's many like channeled texts and many different threads of, you know, of Mary Magdalene as a kind of
mm,
frequency.
mm,
um and so there's, yeah, been many kind of different journeys with her over the years, and that's what has like now become more synthesized in my being as, yeah, as the work that I do now, like
mm,
gnosis. And um Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. And I never take for granted that some people may not have an awareness of who Mary Magdalene is,
Totally.
was as a being. Would you explain for the listener as well a little bit
Yeah.
about her for us?
I mean, like, kind of historically, Mary Magdalene
Yes.
was, I mean, she's known now as the Apostle of the Apostles because she was the one who witnessed the resurrection of Christ. That's been, written about in the Gospels. But she's also been the face of the sinner for thousands of
Mm.
years.
Yes.
So if people have a Catholic upbringing, they'll probably sense Mary Magdalene in their being as like wrong, as a prostitute, as this penitent woman. The penitent quality is something that she's like had to carry over the years.
Mm.
Of yeah, and she's carried that archetype of the repentant sinner for
Mm.
yeah a couple of thousand years.
Mm.
And so yeah, but what's actually being revealed now is that she was actually kind of embodying teachings that none of the other disciples were even aware of. And that's what her
Mm.
gospel goes into, is the teachings that were shared with her and lived by her, through her embodiment.
Yes.
Yeah, she is the embodiment of, of love, of the teachings,
Mm.
rather than just carrying them or just
Conceptualizing
writing
them,
them
yeah.
down. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
She's, she carries the living embodiment of them, and that's what's emerging now.
Mm.
Yeah, both in literal, like, there's an actual gospel of Mary, and
Yes.
also we see it just, collectively through this like feminine awakening that we're in now of,
Mm.
yeah, deeper embodiment is available to us all. Yeah, like, the world is changing. We're waking up in new and ancient ways as well.
Mm.
But yeah, so I feel like Mary Magdalene holds, yeah, quite a like significant note of liberation and like holding love through all of that,
Yes.
like despite everything that was said about her over the many thousands of years, like she held love,
Mm.
um and didn't try to force anything onto anyone or even hide necessarily. And there was just this gentle like holding and trust and patience in like the human heart.
Mm.
um yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, she is magnificent. Whenever
yeah,
whenever I felt her presence, she is just like the heart cracker, She's
yeah.
just like that full on, like, oh,
Absolutely.
I surrender. What? And
Yeah,
it's just that pure love frequency within the
yeah.
body and the love that I am, it's
Mm,
that understanding that in our humanness, we
yeah.
are so divine,
Mm,
as beings walking on this earth, we are still so connected to God.
yeah,
We are
yeah,
God, it's that pure frequency
exactly.
of love. It's so, so special.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Mm,
I absolutely loved actually walking that path with you. And
mm,
it clashed with another container that I was working. And I remember
mm.
each week feeling like, oh, can't wait to get into gnosis. And I think for anyone who's listening, Bridget has a really beautiful journey. It's walking through the seven veils.
Mm,
And this offering is just beautiful because it's a way
mm,
to, I think, take what's an extensive journey of learning that you've been
mm.
on, that, as you say, you've learned to embody and still are,
Mm.
I'm guessing, a student
Yeah,
of, very much
definitely.
so. But it's a wonderful way to kind of dip your toe in and understand,
Mm,
okay, yeah. And for me, what really came to be was an awareness of, oh, how deeply I'm already journeying with these teachings. The
mm,
pathway is there, it's being laid out for me
mm,
already. And it was like a really beautiful, almost like a homecoming of,
mm.
yeah, I have this ally in Mary Magdalene within,
Yeah.
yeah, she's there for all of us. So really beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. She's an ally. Yeah, I feel like
Mm.
for anyone on the embodiment journey, um,
Mm.
yeah, whatever body you're in, like this is not just like a, female body path. It's like,
Right.
yeah, it's a path of the heart, but it is, yeah, this embodied, quality. And I do feel like she is an ally for those of us on that particular path,
Mm.
for sure. And reveals in many different ways. I feel like she has medicine that touches us differently, and yeah, I mean,
Mm.
that's what I say, like, said to you in the last group of gnosis, and I'm holding another round now. It's like
Mm.
these teachings are like wanting to be lived now, like to be brought through each of us now. It's not just, I'm here to offer what I know and what I've learned through my own experience, but also this is like a revelation moment to moment,
Mm.
yeah, and this is where I'm a devotee of the mystery. It's just like as its life is revealing as it is in each moment. It's not
Mm.
like something that is like calcified into just this text. It's not just a
Yes.
framework that we're then going to place on top of ourselves and our experience. It's like, how can
Mm.
that be a portal into like the lived experience of this moment now?
Mm.
um yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm.
to think that it's such an ancient gospel, but it's a
Mm.
living, breathing, adapting thing. And as you said, it's
Yeah.
so, so valuable now with this
Mm.
awakening, with this feminine
Mm.
uprising that we're experiencing. I love that
Mm.
you touched on as well that it isn't just about female bodies, because I think there
Mm.
is this misunderstanding when we speak about the path of the divine feminine or Mary
Mm.
Magdalene teachings, that it is
Mm.
exclusive to women, but each of us as human beings, we hold
Mm.
the frequencies of masculine and feminine, and actually these
Yeah.
teachings are available for everybody.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. And that, that they're, even though I do like work with the womb and anchoring into the womb, which is also
Mm.
can be available for anybody.
Mm.
um but yeah, it's just more kind of familiar in a female body, but still is available for everyone. But yeah, the Magdalene teachings and the teachings of love are through the heart, and the heart is universal.
Mm.
And so yeah, that's that portal in is for anyone and everyone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah. So what happens? So I know a little bit about your life and where you're living, and so where are you at
Mm.
now? Like what
Yeah.
mysteries are you traversing at the moment? I'm curious. What's life
Well,
giving
still
you?
very much the Magdalene mysteries.
Mm.
That's ongoing, but yeah, I mean, I'm living at a mystery school currently. It's the summer period at a mystery school in New Zealand,
Mm.
and I've been journeying, yeah, with this temple over the last almost 5 years, coming in and out. And there's like, yeah, 2 times a year there's 6-week trainings, like soul
Mm.
initiation trainings. um yeah, and so the priestess in me is very much like devoted to not just like this temple, but to what lives at the core of this temple.
Mm.
The vibration of love and life, and that the freedom that truly lives at the core of that. um and that is everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. But there definitely are, like, yeah, significant points around the globe that are landing temple in a way that is very new. And yeah, this is quite a hub for that. This was one of
Mm.
the, yeah, maybe, yeah, one of the kind of first, and that has initiated a lot of temples around the world and a lot of people carrying this note.
Mm.
um and yeah, so I'm deeply blessed to, yeah, be living here during this time, and to be living in, there's a Mary statue here, because at one
Mm.
point it was a Catholic monastery for
Wow.
however many decades.
Mm.
So there's a Mary and a Joseph on either end of the property, and I
Mm.
live in this little
Perfect.
cabin next door. um
Mm.
yeah, so it's a very special, unique, kind of wild place,
Yeah.
that is, yeah, just deeply loving and magical and kind of
Mm.
otherworldly, but also, yeah, very much is emerging more into the world. And I feel, for me, that's like, I feel it on a personal level and also on a collective level, like the mysteries are emerging more.
Mm.
And Yeah, so we're kind of
Yeah, I
in that
love that.
transition now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
almost becoming more acceptable to, it's definitely been like a change, hasn't there, in terms of being able to claim your witch and being able to
Yeah.
claim your wizard and
Yeah.
um yeah, in terms of, yeah, really allowing yourself to say, yeah, this is kind of, I believe in magic, I believe in the mystery.
Yeah. Mm.
My only regret is that we don't have, to my knowledge, something like that here in London. You know, and
I know there's a few beings there that are
yeah, you might need to hook
like,
me up actually.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm excited too for this change, for this kind of
Mm.
uprising, this, yeah, this coming into a big part for me. My medicine, I believe, is making magic accessible to
Mm.
others. They,
Yeah.
to really allow you, regardless of your demographic, your social
Mm.
status, your culture, that you, if you want to touch that piece of magic that is within you, it is
Mm.
within your grasp. You don't have
Mm.
to be in Bali. You don't have to be in a mystery school.
Yeah.
You embody that. And it's
Mm.
almost about, and I think because this is such a big part of my journey, is giving
Mm.
myself permission and
Mm.
de-shaming that magical, this is really it's a really denigrating term, but you know, the woo that people speak about,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're really woo, and it's like,
Yeah.
actually that's a really horrible term. I think it takes
Mm.
away, it does a disservice to the mystery and the magic that's within each of us. But I do
Mm.
believe in this metamorphosis that I'm going through, where I'm being willing to be at one, be at peace, and claim that part of myself.
Mm.
I hope to show others the way as well.
Mm.
There's so much oppression of this
Yeah.
magical element to each of us as human beings,
Mm.
and we're so deeply gifted and attuned, and it's just so driven out of us, especially when you live in a
Yeah.
big city like London,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I love that you're expanding from your temple and spreading this
Mm.
beautiful message across the world, you
Mm.
know, and making change like this. It feels so
Yeah.
potent.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I honor you, like living in, yeah, such a hub of busyness. And yeah, London is, yeah, a strong place to be, and to be holding, yeah, like
Mm.
that note of magic. And like that's, yeah, that's a courageous, piece to hold. So yeah,
Yeah,
honoring you
thank
in
you.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm.
it honestly feels like this is where I was plonked, and this is where I have to
Yeah.
do the work, right? There's almost
Yeah.
this surrender element to, okay, well, this is the job I've been given. I may not be happy
Yeah.
about it, but here I am.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love this.
Yeah.
So, the mystery school, the whole concept of a mystery school, I mean, it's just so beautiful. What does it give you in terms of the way that you embody today? I'm curious. I'd love to unpack
Mm.
that a little bit. Being in that
Mm.
community, for instance, we pulled the community card, didn't
I
we?
know.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean that was perfect.
mm,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like through group, and I saw that in my Steiner journey, and even through the
mm,
kind of sacred sexuality path and dance, and through this particular mystery school thread and journey, like group work has been such a significant portal of transformation for me. And like
mm,
it's hilarious because parts of me just despise it. I hate being in a circle, and like the getting in the center, and like, yeah, clunking my way through whatever is trying to emerge. It's like it's
mm,
one of the worst things, but it's also just so profound to be witnessed and loved in whatever, mess or beauty might be, like, kind of alive at that point in time.
mm.
And I feel like, yeah, I feel like we need the reflections from, and the gaze from other, like, yeah, people like I know we do need to like discover the love in ourselves, like that's, and for me
Mm,
that's been such a journey with Magdalene as well. It's like I feel like she's been a reference for me to embody the love that I already am. But I also feel like through group that has been so necessary for me as well, to like have to receive a loving gaze on parts that I just would never have even
mm.
considered could ever possibly be loved
Oh,
ever by anything. And so yeah,
mm,
I feel like we need each other in that regard. And I mean that's the that's one of the key kind of practices here is being in a field of love where like everything is welcome, you know. And yeah, we'll have our human triggers, like being in community is a bit different to being in a training in a way, because like
mm,
just living in community we're also a lot more in the humanness and can have our own triggers and things, but also
mm,
holding this note of like, oh, but I see the deeper part of you, and I love you there, and I, you know, like, so I can love you through all of this.
yeah,
um and you know, I mean, I feel like a lot of us find that through relationship, and I certainly have as well, both
mm,
for, you know, for not so empowering relationships and also very empowering relationships
mm,
that have been such strong initiations for me in that regard.
mm.
But to also do that in like a in a group is really really powerful. And yeah, for me, you know, I feel like that's one of the key kind of, yeah, notes of transformation that being in a
Mm.
mystery school um, can, yeah, can support.
Yeah, I had this beautiful imagery come. So we talk about, I personally have always found that self-actualization through relationship is a huge part of my
Oh,
journey. It's that
yeah, me
fully
too.
meeting myself in how I am with others and
Mm,
have receiving those reflections, becoming willing to
yeah,
receive sometimes those reflections that maybe
yeah.
my
Humble
ego is
ourselves
like,
enough.
yeah, my ego is like, fuck off. And
Totally.
actually, like, there's this, yeah, this also this part of me that's like, yes, give it to me. I need to see
Yeah,
myself. And
yeah,
yeah, it's okay to not do things, not have all the answers and not do it alone. And,
yeah,
there are things so potent in we just can't catch our own bullshit, right? Sometimes. So
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I had this beautiful visual of like, yeah, not just the one, mirror from, let's say, being in a monogamous relationship with one
Mm,
significant other, but in community we have this fractal, all of these mirrors and
mm,
really beaming
yeah.
ourselves back, but light and love, and just what an
Mm,
incredible place
mm,
to be able to fully see oneself in that way. But
mm.
actually, as I'm saying that, I don't know, there's a part of me that just quests for more
Yeah.
self-knowledge. And I think for some people that's like, what? Why would you want to just keep looking at yourself like that, So I think
Yeah.
it's an interesting pathway we choose, right? To just really be
Yeah.
called out on our stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And like, you
Touch on
know,
such a level.
like the group, it can be very, like I say, loving, but
Mm.
like, you know, that doesn't mean it's all kind of happy, happy, joy, joy, you know?
Yeah, of
Not at
course.
all. It's like, because we're like sometimes to love another person in a certain place, it's like yeah, it can be fierce. It can be,
Mm.
yeah, you know, yeah, very confronting and uncomfortable. And a lot of the time it is.
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, it does require that kind of humbling of ourselves to,
Mm.
and a discernment as well, to like, you know, okay, titrate what is coming in, and what, you know, what feels true for me. And
Mm.
yeah, and I mean this is just like one, yeah, kind of aspect of it all, but
Yeah.
yeah,
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 beautiful.
yeah.
What a teaching, what a pathway. So what's next? What's kind of lighting you up? Do you have I mean, actually, no, before we go on, there was one thing as well that dropped in when you were speaking, and I was thinking this really connected us because we're talking a lot about the growth and these reflections, but there's also a lot of fun, I think, an expansive kind of
Yeah,
playfulness that goes down. I appreciate it, Hayden, because I
yeah.
think one of the first times I really connected and became super invested in your journey was when you went through your metamorphosis of different hairstyles. Do you remember?
Oh, I remember. I remember.
Mate, I was
Yeah, that
just
was
like, I was on that road with you, just thinking, this is fucking
you were.
awesome.
I remember that. God, yeah, that was a time of change. I mean, it always is, but like, yeah, that was hilarious. That was, I mean, I like last year, a year and a half ago, during one of the
Mm,
trainings, and yeah, my friend and I, like, I had, I don't know, hair here, and yeah, we had the idea to do a different haircut every day to like shave it, but we couldn't get it every day.
right.
So it was like every few days.
Yeah.
So yeah, but gradually had different haircuts every few days and went all the way down to the skin and got my head, tattooed, got my
Mm,
priestess moon that I've been longing for many years.
mm,
Yeah, that was, and then came to the UK after, like straight after that actually, and went
yeah.
to Avalon, and yeah, that was a massive,
Mm.
massive journey.
Huge
But yeah, it was also
initiation.
hilarious and ridiculous and very fun. And like, yeah, that is a lot of what goes on also. It's just like we're just kind of in this portal of creativity and like emergence and experimentation, It's
Mm,
like, if yeah, where's the life moving?
mm,
And just kind of there's the space and the opportunity to follow that.
mm.
So yeah, there's a lot that comes spilling out for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it was fabulous. Honestly, I do remember just watching your journey and just being equally kind of yeah, excited, but also just in awe of your willingness to just get rid of something that looked really good, actually. That was part of it. It was like, but this looks fucking hot. What you're gonna, it's just everything was so transitional, and for me
Yeah.
that showed such strength of your such
Mm.
sovereignty, such willingness to
Mm.
just be with the true essence underneath the it was such a metaphor, for
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
inherent self-worth. And I think, yeah, you
Mm.
took me on such a journey
Mm.
with you throughout that, where I learned so much around
Yeah.
wow, yeah, like we really get to strip it back and just be with who
Yeah.
we really are. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that medicine journey.
No worries. And
Uh,
look, it grows back. So
exactly.
that's why, it wasn't too much of a risk. I mean, it was. But yeah, it
But
was
we get
fun.
so wrapped up, I think, in these pieces of ourselves, these parts of our identity, these
Yeah.
appendages, this clothing,
Yeah.
this hairstyles, the way we look. I mean, it's again a
Mm.
huge, I won't project, it's a huge part of my own journey is coming
Mm.
into comfortability, comfort with
Mm-hmm.
how I am, coming
Yeah.
back from this dysphoria, this dysmorphic kind of,
Yeah.
and being okay with
Mm.
myself has been a huge
Yeah.
journey. This soul has really struggled to be in this physical
Mm.
body in
Mm-hmm.
this lifetime. So yeah, just so much
Yeah.
admiration for that.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of what it was as well, was like, this kind of experiment of, okay, who am I with this haircut, like, and
Mm.
it feel like it just drew out like different identities within me, different, yeah, places. And I mean, it kind of then confused me a little bit. I kind of got a bit discombobulated after that,
Wow.
actually, because it was this rediscovery of like, wow, okay, I'm all of these beings in this one being. Like, yeah, it was a little bit of a existential journey after that,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was also, yeah, very profound. And
Mm.
yeah, yeah, it was big.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you. Mm.
Mm. Yeah.
Ah, yes. And so what's next for you? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
curious. Do you plan ahead? Or do you just
I try
constantly
to.
allow the mystery to guide you?
I do try to. I do have a vague sense of what's ahead.
Because I also know we're both very Pisces, right? So
Yeah.
there's
Pisces.
always
Also,
from
you've got Mars in Gemini as well, right?
I do,
You've
yeah. Do
got the,
you?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. That weird kind of non-binary, who am I? Yeah, that like,
yeah.
yeah,
So
completely.
could go in
Yeah.
any direction at any time.
Who knows? Yeah. I'm surrender to the mystery and just let it lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
what's next for you then in your fishy
Yeah. Well,
plan?
yeah, I mean, I'm here through the summer, which is kind of winter for, yeah,
Mm.
everyone in the Northern
For us
Hemisphere talking.
unlucky people, yeah.
Yeah. we have the next temple training in February. So that's February, March. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm still holding, longing to hold gnosis again, like to just keep deepening with that work and keep letting it reveal. Like we're just in the second week of the second round now. So yeah, I'm curious to see what emerges this round. And yeah, I mean, I feel a desire to actually hold a Magdalene pilgrimage next year in the south of France, which is the first time I'm saying that in public.
Oh, I love this. Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that'll be like, you know, July, August or something. So like that's kind of, you know, where I feel like there's some part of me being sent ahead, being sent over, you know, that way, your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean in between it's still in the mystery, but yeah, I offering more yoni mapping therapy and wanting, just that work is always deepening in me as well. So yeah.
Oh, so excited for you as well. And the idea of you coming to France and that Magdalene journey would just be so potent to journey that with you. Yeah. I'm excited to hear more about that for sure.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I know that I always like to ask questions of the guests towards the end. Like we have so many different types of humans who listen to the podcast. And some of them may be space holders and facilitators. Others might be embarking upon a journey of healing for themselves. I'm curious. There are often different pieces that that the guest wants to share with each of those types of listeners. Do you have any wisdom, anything that you'd like to share, any transmissions you'd like to share with with the listeners that you feel would be interesting for them to take away?
I feel like there's something significant around creating space. Like, I feel like I'm on this kind of note of spaciousness at the moment. And like, I feel like we live in a world where there's like very little space. And, you know, and internally, you know, especially. And I feel like it can also be so uncomfortable, but also so revelatory. And I feel like my longing is to support others to like be able to experience the space that lives within them. And you know, that happens in yoni mapping therapy. It's like we're exploring this space that actually is so vast. And that, you know, I feel that with the heart as well, you know, and just within our whole inner landscape, I feel like there's just so much space available that when we can just like sink into that, like everything else can kind of arrange itself in a way that is in a much like deeper alignment with and it creates space for life, for actual life to move through, you know. And so my invitation, or my longing as well, my prayer is for each of us to cultivate this quality of spaciousness, because that's where the mystery can find its way through.
Stunning. Oh, really feeling that, especially here in the winter in London, building up to Christmas. And just this whole, you know, consumer society that we're being subjected to, this pressure. So thank you.
And it doesn't require anything, you know, like it doesn't really require you to set out. You don't need to do like an hour a day, like, or certain, you know, it can just be a moment. Like actually when I just in the middle of doing things and I'm feeling frustrated by something loading on my laptop or whatever, but when I just kind of like rest into a little note of like spaciousness, it just kind of transforms everything. So I feel like that.
Thank you. Yum. Do you feel complete?
Yeah. Yeah,
It
I
feels
do.
complete. It feels great. It's
Yeah,
been so beautiful to connect with you.
yeah, you
And I just
too.
have so much joy in my heart. It just feels, yeah, so
I
spacious.
feel
Thank you for
that.
creating that for me today.
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed sharing with us as well.
I
Thank
have. Thank you. Thank you for being a wonderful
you.
podcast host for my first podcast. Very
So very
supportive.
welcome. By the way, for the listeners, I will make sure that everything about Brighid is linked in the bio that
Thank
accompanies
you.
the podcast, the episode. If you want to look at her offerings, I would highly recommend you do.
Mm,
But yeah, I'll make sure that everything's linked so that you can connect. Thank
mm.
you.
Thank you so much, Claire.